Hello, good afternoon, people. Back again. I have some, good news to share with you guys. Well, it's more an update, a little bit of good news, but not crazy, crazy good news. But it's still good news. It's not bad news. So come stick with me and let's spill this U.S. immigration law tea. I'm very happy to come your way. All right, guys. So today we're going to be discussing the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act. Okay, Citizenship for Essential Workers Act. You're welcome, guys. Welcome on Facebook. Welcome on YouTube. If you're joining, as you can tell, new channel, subscribe, comment, like, and watch all my other videos. My name is Akua. I'm a U.S. licensed attorney. My practice is all over the U.S. And yeah, so as I said, guys, you're welcome. I see people trooping, and please grab a seat, and we'll keep this as usual short and sweet and educative and fun. Okay, so of course, as usual, I have my mug. I'm ready to spill the tea. Let me add my screen. Let's share the screen and jump to it. Yesterday, this was announced, and so we're going to go through what the news is, and then we'll go through, who it covers. Okay, who it covers and who this will benefit. All right, guys. So yesterday, a bicameral group of Democrat lawmakers, they sent a letter to Joe Biden. Today's Thursday. Okay, so Tuesday. Um, they sent a letter on Tuesday, and then they requested that he prioritize legislation that would offer a pathway to citizenship to undocumented essential workers in the second part of his two-part infrastructure package that is set to, of course, address education and childcare. So when we talk about bicameral group of Democrat lawmakers, they most likely mean, a group of senators and a group of representatives. So, both chambers in Congress, both chambers are, the bicameral, the House of Representatives and Senators, both, Democrats from both parts of Congress came together and then sent this proposal to Joe Biden. And in the letter, the name for the Citizenship for Essential Workers is HR 1909. And yeah, pretty much they wanted that to be prioritized in the American Families Plan. That's the name of the second part of Biden's two-part plan. Okay, the two-part infrastructure plan is talking about education and childcare. So they want that the people who have been essential workers, especially during the pandemic, to get a pathway to legalization and get a green card so they can stay here in the United States. Okay. So the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act would provide a citizenship for more than so these are about 5 million people, and this would give them immediate adjustment of status to legal permanent residence if it's passed. So immediate green cards if this will be passed. In the legislation, any undocumented immigrant who works in the following sectors must be covered. They're talking about people who work in childcare. So if you work in a daycare or you work anywhere that has to do with, caring for children, you work in healthcare, in hospitals, and, anything that has to do with the health of people, Americans, you work in agriculture. So, you're helping grow food, or in any capacity, you're helping is that agriculture? So you're helping farms, you're helping, grow animals, give them, pasture, whatever that has to do with agriculture. If you're working in construction, so the people that are, plumbing and building the foundation and whatever, those are construction workers. Then emergency response, those are the people that if there's any type of emergency, you call, let's say, that, hey, I need help, maybe 911 or whatever. These are the people, if there's a fire outbreak, these are some of the workers who are trained and, have the capacity to handle all these types of emergencies that keep the country very safe. If you're in transportation, all these big truck drivers, they sometimes, some of them transport food, medicines, and whatever across states, interstate. And so you find them driving really huge cars and really huge tractors and really huge, storage vans or whatever across the states and across country. And yeah, they work in transportation. These are bus drivers, perhaps Uber drivers. I don't know who they're specifically referring to. I went onto the Congress website in a bit to get the actual text of the law to review, but it's currently not available. The legislation is not available on the Congress website. So it's just, they've just done a very basic draft of it. And so I'll go into what the group of congressmen have supplied. We'll go into that very soon, but let's continue with this. So these are the people that will be affected. People who are domestic workers and who work in food. So if you work in perhaps maybe the deli in Giant or Walmart, you're dealing with meat, cheese, you're the domestic worker, you clean somebody's home, you're a molly maid, or you just help scrub bathrooms and all of that. Those are all domestic workers and other essential jobs. All these people are going to be covered if this HR 1909 Act is passed. Okay, essential jobs will be able to apply for citizenship. Okay, so let's take a look at the rest of this, and then guys, drop me a comment. Of course, I'm expecting you guys to show some virtual love, even if I don't say it. Tell me where you're connecting from, where you're watching from, and then I'll read some comments when we are done. So the upcoming legislative package on jobs and infrastructure is the best opportunity to recognize and reward the sacrifices of these essential workers. Okay, so essential workers pay okay, so they are unable to work from home, they live in crowded conditions. I mean, clearly the conditions are bad, because if you are undocumented, you just have so many barriers and barricades to living a comfortable life. You can barely even rent a home or whatever, because a lot of these people, these property owners will be looking to rent to people who are documented and who have the funds and all of that. So this effort, the letter that they wrote to President Biden, they said it's critical for essential workers to be given documentation so that the U.S. can build our economy back better. And interestingly, this effort was led by Senators Elizabeth Warren. I mean, she is a very popular and very powerful senator of Massachusetts, and Alex Padilla, and Republicans, a couple of Republicans. Okay, so again, yes, the latest try from Democrats to get legislation that would offer undocumented immigrants a pathway to citizenship passed in this Congress. Yep, they're not giving up. I really hope that they won't. We have to try all angles, all styles, and see, which way will give way. So let's go to this part of the text and see. So this is directly from CNN. We'll go to the main draft. Okay, so essential workers are American heroes, and they have earned American citizenship. That's what Castro said. He's part of the congressmen, and it's crucial that our economy and society be rebuilt, and to include immigrant essential workers. Okay, so the first part of Biden's infrastructure plan is named the American Jobs Plan, and this would improve the nation's infrastructure and building. Okay, so we don't need to go into the infrastructure plan. Our focus is mainly on immigration. So now let me just remove this and share another text with you. Okay, stop screen. Let's share this. Guys, drop me a comment. Let me see you're watching. and let me know where you are watching from. Okay, I found it right here. The HR 909. Oh no, not this. No, not this. I actually went to the Congress website by mistake. I seem to be, my emails as usual I just keep getting a number of notifications. So yeah, I found it. Must be here. Okay, right here. I think this, oh no. Okay, I think I found it now. Sorry, I also went back to a different text. One of these days, I'm going to be opening up my private text to you. That will be disastrous. So no, my documents are all safe. Okay, guys, stick with me. I'm almost there. Okay, yeah, I got the fact sheet. That's what I was trying to pull up. So right here. Okay, good. This should be quick and sweet. And so please stick with me. Let's sip some tea. All right, guys. So this is the fact sheet. We don't, as I said, we don't have the text of the bill yet. So the top line is this: the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act provides undocumented essential workers with a fast, accessible, and secure path to citizenship, beginning with immediate adjustment to legal permanent residence. This legislation is a critical part of a just and inclusive COVID-19 recovery. So this is the argument that they're making, that if you want to make a full comeback from COVID-19, you know, the devastations of COVID-19, we need to document, essential workers. So in total, there are about 5.2 million undocumented immigrants who are working in jobs that have been designated essential during the COVID-19 pandemic. This accounts for almost 3 out of 4 undocumented workers in the United States. Of course, as I keep saying, these undocumented people wake up and go to work. They are not just sleeping at home all day. How are they catering for themselves? They are working. So, hey, that's one of the reasons why they just have to be documented, because they are working anyway. Okay, so these are janitors cleaning hospital floors, to farm workers picking America's crops, to EMTs. This is probably emergency services, EMTs. Oh, or probably, okay, I think EMTs, ear, mouth, and throat. You know, the people that cater to the medical services that cater to our ear, mouth, and throat. So EMT. I'm not sure. Well, these are EMTs and nurses saving lives. Undocumented essential workers have done the jobs that cannot be done remotely, putting their lives on the line so other Americans would not have to. Okay, so being a janitor, you can't stay at home and work remotely, like clean the hospital floor remotely. You have to go there and then risk getting infected. Okay, as a result of the high rates of exposure, immigrant essential workers and their families have borne high costs, being likelier to contract and die from COVID, which contributes to a disproportionate impact of COVID on communities of color. Of course, this really affects the Black communities really largely, as well as, I assume, the Hispanics, who are also affected very largely. Of the approximately 5 million undocumented essential workers, around 1 million could be identified as dreamers. These are people that came to the US under the age of 18 years under the American Dream and Promise Act, with many holding DACA status. The other 4 million undocumented essential workers largely lack any protection from deportation, meaning a worker deemed essential today could be deported tomorrow. Yeah, you know, that they live in jeopardy. They don't know when they could be deported, right? Very, very disturbing. Guys, I'm still spilling the legal tea. We should be done very, very soon. So guys, stick with me. I'm just getting to the bottom of the document. Okay, right here. Okay, good. We just found that. Oh my gosh. My screen just went off again, but I should be able to retrieve it very, very quickly. So we're still reviewing the Citizenship for Essential Workers fact sheet. Okay, so right here, let me enlarge this. Okay, so in addition to helping Americans stay healthy and fed during the COVID-19 crisis, undocumented essential workers are also an engine of economic prosperity. Absolutely. Undocumented workers contribute up to 79.7 billion in federal taxes and 41 billion in state and local taxes annually. Guys, imagine how much money America would make if they would just document these people. They would make so much money. And you know how much the American government loves its taxes. Okay, so this would be a great way to legalize them and to, get taxes from them, because many of them don't pay taxes. Some of them have the ITIN number, but they just don't pay taxes. Some of them are afraid that they feel like, oh, if I go pay taxes, they'll come and arrest me or whatever. So let's find out what does the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act do. So let's go into the juice and the meat of the law. This should be, don't worry, we're almost at the bottom of the document. I just want to, yep, this is it. This is the final part. Let's find out what the Essential Workers Act is going to be doing for people. Oh my goodness. There it goes again. As soon as I go out of the screen, I see Mr. Gavin commenting. I'll be reading some comments soon. I just want to keep this really fast. So let me just, okay, right here, the meat of the law. So adjustment of status to legal permanent residents. That means adjustment to a green card holder under the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act. So all this means is that if you are undocumented and you are an essential worker, you can move to a green card holder. And these are the people that this will cover. You have to be a worker in the sector of healthcare, agriculture, construction, emergency response, sanitation, food, restaurants. This is amazing. Hotels and hospitality. If you lay beds in Hilton or you are laying beds in what are some of the hotels? in Trump Towers or wherever. Meat, fish, poultry processing, domestic work, childcare, disaster recovery, home health, residential care, manufacturing, warehousing, transportation, logistics, janitorial, laundry services, any other worker deemed essential by the DHS or state or local government. This is huge. This is very, very broad, and this is great. So for the people that do like home health care, like help older people take care of themselves, what they call live in here, help older people, disabled people to poop, to bath, to eat. Those are all home health care businesses, and some of them are undocumented. They'll have green cards from this. The Citizenship for Essential Workers Act will also include undocumented workers who worked in essential industries but lost employment due to COVID, including leaving the job due to unsafe working conditions, as well as undocumented relatives of an essential worker who died from COVID-19. This is amazing. So if you had a relative who was an essential worker but died due to COVID, you'll be covered. If you lost your job due to COVID, but you were an essential worker, you'll be covered. And if you left your job because it was unsafe due to COVID, you'll also be covered. This is really expansive, like very, very broad. So this is really great. Applicants for adjustment of status will be required to pay a reasonable fee and go through a background check. As always, this is constant. They don't want to admit, armed robbers or murderers. You just need to be a good member of the society. So just be careful with everything you do. All information provided or disclosed in an application for this act may not, hold on, let me scroll down, may not be used for enforcement purposes. As I was telling you guys, this is one of the major challenges of some of these things. People feel like, oh, you're trying to trap us to come out and say, oh yeah, we're undocumented, we're not coming, right? Nobody can use this as an enforcement tool. It's a legalization and regularization tool only. Okay, so there will be no cause for alarm, no tricks, no unanswered tricks, no funny tricks. Don't worry, guys. All right, so why support the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act? This is the final part of the draft, the fact sheet of the bill, HR 1909, the Citizenship for Essential Workers Act. This is the final part. So, undocumented workers have been essential during the pandemic and will be just as essential during the recovery. Over 60 top economists recently made the case in a letter urging Biden administration to include a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants as part of the relief. And they pointed out that the policy would increase prosperity and reduce poverty for all Americans. I've been shouting this over the rooftops. I hope they are listening. Like, just this is going to benefit Americans in terms of taxes and in terms of national security. Okay. The legislation is the broadest standalone pathway to citizenship proposed by Congress for any specific group of immigrant workers and can be part of a broader COVID-19 relief and economic recovery package. So this letter was sent to the very wonderful President Joe Biden. And what did I do? Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is going to be this letter was sent to President Joe Biden on Tuesday. So let's see what comes out of it. We're just spilling the good news, of course. A lot of good news, as Janet is saying, on the HR 1909 Citizenship for Essential Workers Act. We need some action, but the Republicans are still saying, hey, we are not moving forward with immigration reform unless and until there is border security. The borders have been secured. So guys, we need them to come up with innovative solutions to secure the border and prevent so many people from Mexico, Honduras, all those countries from coming into the US and trying to seek asylum and green cards. Okay, the borders need to be sealed, some way, somehow, or there has to be some border security. So hopefully the Democrats are thinking outside the box and they're brainstorming and they can come up with something that will make, that will help progress this dialogue, keep the conversation going, and then evolve the conversation from just words into real action, real immigration reform, where people can start, the legislators can actually start voting and drafting the real law, and people can start, there'll be a law and people can start applying, and let's get into some real action. So hopefully all of that will be sorted. Well, guys, that is it. I just brought you the latest news on immigration reform, Citizenship for Essential Workers Act, HR 1909. I hope you guys had a wonderful time. Let's read some comments. Frederick says, hi, I'm here. Hello, Frederick. How are you? Mr. Gavin says, keep on with the fantastic work you're doing. Thank you so much, Mr. Gavin. I so appreciate it. Mr. Gavin said, tax revenue is the blood of every nation. Of course, Mr. Gavin is your CPA. He knows what he's talking about. He's a numbers man, an accounting professional, so he definitely knows what he's talking about. He says, wow, Mr. Gavin, thank you so much for all your wonderful comments. Janet Davis says, hi, wow, this is a lot of good news. It's great news. The bill covers a lot of people and a lot of sectors, so we keep our fingers crossed. Something has to happen. And Mr. Francis Gavin says, many thanks. Thank you as well for keeping me company here. Janet Davis says, yes, I do enjoy. That's wonderful. That's great. All right, guys, I don't want to keep you guys for too long. Thank you so much for sticking with me. As usual, I was just here to spill the tea. I'm very happy. I just really hope that something happens. Let's keep our prayers up and our fingers crossed. Guys, be safe, be blessed, and take care of yourselves until I see you again tomorrow to spill some legal news and some legal tea. Bye-bye.